Once upon a time, in a small town called Oakwood, there lived a girl named Sara. She was known for her rebellious nature and had a reputation for being disrespectful towards her teachers. Sara believed that school was a waste of time and that her teachers were simply there to make her life miserable. One day, Sara found herself in a new class with a teacher named Mrs. Thompson. Mrs. Thompson had a reputation for being patient and understanding, qualities that Sara had never encountered in a teacher before. Intrigued, Sara decided to test her limits and see how far she could push Mrs. Thompson. But instead of reacting with anger or frustration, Mrs. Thompson responded with kindness and compassion. She took the time to understand Sara's struggles and offered her guidance and support. Mrs. Thompson saw beyond Sara's rebellious exterior and recognized the potential within her. As the days turned into weeks, Sara began to notice something different about Mrs. Thompson. She saw the way Mrs. Thompson dedicated her time and energy to creating engaging lessons, always going above and beyond to ensure her students understood the material. Sara realized that teaching wasn't just a job for Mrs. Thompson. It was her passion. Curiosity got the better of Sara, and she started paying closer attention in class. She noticed how Mrs. Thompson would stay late after school to help struggling students, how she would come up with creative ways to make learning fun, and how she genuinely cared about each and every one of her students' well-being. One day, Sara found herself in need of some extra help with a challenging assignment. She hesitated for a moment before approaching Mrs. Thompson, unsure of how she would react. To her surprise, Mrs. Thompson welcomed her with open arms and spent hours patiently explaining the material until Sara understood. In that moment, something clicked within Sara. She realized that teachers were not the enemy but rather allies in her journey of learning and growth. She began to appreciate the hard work and dedication that went into being a teacher. As time went on, Sara's attitude towards her other teachers began to change as well. She started showing respect, participating in class, and even helping her classmates when they struggled. Sara had become a role model for her peers, all thanks to the influence of Mrs. Thompson. Sara's transformation didn't go unnoticed. Other students began to follow her lead, and the atmosphere in the school shifted. Teachers felt appreciated and valued, and students started to realize the impact that their teachers had on their lives. Sara's journey of appreciation had a ripple effect that extended far beyond the walls of the school. She carried her newfound respect for teachers into her everyday life, treating everyone with kindness and understanding. The positive change she brought to her community was immeasurable. In the end, Sara learned that teachers were not just there to impart knowledge but also to guide, inspire, and shape young minds. She understood that by respecting teachers, she was not only honoring their hard work but also contributing to a better society as a whole. And so, Sara's story serves as a reminder to us all that a little appreciation can go a long way. By recognizing the dedication and passion of our teachers, we can create a positive and nurturing environment for learning and growth.